You gotta start it or no? Oh. All right, thanks everybody for coming tonight. And like Shayna said, I'm Becky and I am the Dean of Women at camp. I've been doing that for, I think this is my third year, I think, being Dean of Women. I have been working with Royal Family Kids Camp since 2004, and I was a counselor before, for all the years previous to being Dean of Women, and I missed, I think, 3 years in there, so I believe this will be my 20th year. Yay. So I am going to be talking about self-awareness. Now they've renamed it with the new handbook, Building a Mission Mindset. So building a mission mindset, Royal Family Kids Camp is a mission trip to serve children who have experienced childhood trauma in your community. As a volunteer, you will closely interact and relate with the campers. Everyone brings their flaws, history, experiences, and spiritual life to camp. You may feel inexperienced to work with these children. Camp may, without warning, cause past or forgotten experiences to resurface. However, you can thrive as a volunteer by being self-aware and anticipating your unique challenges. Every Royal Family Kids Camp has a sponsoring church, and our group is Sunrise, the church here that we're in. Volunteer expectations. Thank you for listening to God and for your desire to change lives as part of the worldwide movement of For the Children. You are being vulnerable and putting your faith into action by your willingness to minister to campers who have been incredibly challenged. You are an answer to prayer for both leadership and for the children, so thank you. Royal Family Kids Camp is unique. It is much more than a service project or a vacation Bible school. Its lasting impact is our focus on reflecting God's compassion and care. This means a successful camp experience starts with your relationship with God. At camp, we strive to create a week filled with fun, meaningful interactions, and challenging experiences. We aim to form strong connections with campers who have suffered from neglect and abuse, offering them spiritual and emotional support and the love of Christ. We trust God will transform campers' lives and expect Him to challenge and grow us significantly. Camp is a life-changing week that feels like a divine appointment. As volunteers, we are expected to engage in a prayer life that is personal, warm, forgiving, and non-judgmental. We want to model the daily habits and attitudes of a connected relationship with God. We want to demonstrate in words and deeds that all people are infinitely valuable. Communicate to campers how you see God in your everyday life. This brings up a memory for me years ago at camp as a counselor, and just having the opportunity to go out in a boat with my camper, with one of my campers, and it was her first time she'd ever been in a boat, so that was exciting. But also just to get to look around and talk about like God's creation. So moments like that are just great opportunities to talk about God in a simple way without, like Shayna said, pushing things on the kids or talking our Christianese talk. We're also to guide campers to embrace virtue, character, and positive behavior patterns, and respond to camp leadership with respect and gratitude. Churches often sponsor short-term mission trips to other countries to help children. Young children of abuse and neglect are often hidden from public view and church ministries. Camp is a short-term mission trip for these children. You may feel like you have entered a foreign culture as you face the distorted reality experienced by the children of abuse from your community. Campers arrive with skewed perceptions and questions that lie deep in their hearts, such as, why was I abandoned? Adults are unsafe and make me afraid. No one loves me. I am worthless. What is wrong with me? God designed families as a primary method of instilling values in the next generations. When parents make harmful choices, the profound toll on their children can be unseen. Campers are innocent victims of these choices and cannot solve the trials of their lives alone. Every aspect of camp has been thoughtfully designed to incorporate hundreds of teachable moments. Volunteers actively participate alongside campers to model healthy relationships and families. One of the most significant ways to teach is by helping campers discover and recognize God as we walk and talk throughout the day. To support these kids and look for opportunity, we are to look for opportunities to connect with the children through actions, words, patience, and kindness. We're to plant ambitions for a positive future while encouraging the smallest successes. I know there's a lot of high fives at camps and good job, and just celebrating those firsts are very important for these kiddos. We're to teach the value of good character and avoid bad influence. We're to teach and model skills for developing good friendships. We're to role model that seeking help comes from a place of strength and is not a show of weakness. We're to demonstrate that success in new experiences and skill development leads to a more fulfilling life. Just want to encourage you all that the leadership team has prayerfully decided that you can positively contribute to the ministry. For mission preparation, we need to self-reflect. Preparing our mind, body, emotions, and spirit for camp will be challenging and requires self-reflection. Our lives are continually changing, so even seasoned camp directors and veteran volunteers may face challenges during camp. Every year, I know for myself coming to camp many years, I'm different. We all change throughout the year, and then the kids are different too, so just keep that in mind. So we should ask ourselves, how do I prepare for a successful camp experience for myself and the campers? Can I help campers feel safe, have fun, learn about God, and glimpse a better future? Am I committed to being mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually available to guide campers who have experienced abuse and neglect? Am I prepared to rely upon God and leave the results of my efforts to Him? Can I faithfully hand the campers back to God and His care at the end of the week? And I know from experience that can be the hardest part. And many of you have been at camp, so you know how that is. And after 20 years of being in, helping out at camp, I have to ask myself these questions every year. To understand the camp's objectives, it is crucial to complete training, pray, and seek advice from more experienced volunteers. Whether you are 16 or 90, male or female, extroverted or introverted, campers need volunteers to act as siblings, parents, or grandparents. Volunteers adopt these roles by offering guidance, celebrating campers' achievements, and soothing their anxieties. Camp training is essential and will help you understand and interact with children who have suffered from abuse. The camp team works together to provide a week of fun and spiritual impact. Humility and flexibility will help with the circumstances that camp always brings. As campers experience the wonder of camp, emotional walls reluctantly but gradually break down, and campers will begin to see themselves as different people. Some campers may take only small steps in their development during the week at camp. Others may experience enormous breakthroughs. And maybe some of you that have been at camp, especially working close with the kids, you can see like kids who have been at camp and then they come back the next year, how the changes. Like we might not see it the first year. They might be shy and withdrawn, but the second year, they really come out of their shell. And I like it when the older campers are helping the younger campers, and kind of the new campers that come and help them kind of show them the ropes. I love to see that. You may not leave camp with a dramatic story of the one, but your interactions and acts of service will make a difference. This includes your preparation in every moment from meeting the campers until your final goodbyes. Even small acts like sweeping the floor, when done with a willing and cheerful attitude, are noticed by the campers and can impact their lives in ways you may never know. Through care, prayer, concentrated attention, and guidance, each volunteer can instill new values in campers that point them to a brighter future. Face fears. Successful camps require a team of humble people who serve one another. In many ways, camp involves mentally, emotionally, and spiritually entering an unfamiliar culture. Training helps us to prepare with the critical skills we need. So maybe at each table you guys can discuss for a minute just the question, what are your fears about camp? So I'll give you a couple minutes to talk about that. No one's talking. Well, if you want, how about we do this? Just maybe raise your hand, or I can choose you. And just give, an example. It doesn't necessarily have to be a fear about camp now, maybe a fear you had if you've been there before going, and you just remember. Yes?
I think it's always nerve-wracking going into camp, hoping that you can give them the best amount of care that's possible, and so just to battle that fear, praying about it beforehand and really relying on God for that strength is probably, it's fearful for us as humans, but giving that strength to Him is what brings you through, so.
Thanks for sharing, Maddie.
Yeah.
So just being afraid of what the week is gonna hold and trusting God. Yeah, those first interactions, yeah. I know that I've experienced that too, for sure, especially if it's gonna be a new camper. Yeah, anyone else?
I guess that's what I would think is handling the situation properly, because you don't know the child yet, or
So just kind of the fear of the unknown.
the unknown.
Yeah. But I like that, that we can trust God and we just bring who He's created us to be, for every moment at camp, and God gives us the grace to just be what we need to be in that moment and in that week. So thank you. All right, then examine your past. If you have a past experience of abuse or neglect, it can affect you and others. It is estimated that 30% of camp volunteers have experienced abuse, neglect, rejection, abandonment, or participated in foster care and family court situations. Some of these events can be devastating and life-impacting. Volunteers with abuse in their past may feel a special kinship with the campers. There is no doubt that a common background and sensitivity to their pain may nurture a natural affinity, and we can all learn and relate to shared insights. However, camp is not the appropriate time to share healing or counseling advice with the campers. A dedicated team of foster parents, guardians, teachers, social workers, and other professionals already have a plan for the other 51 weeks of the year. It is essential to respect their hard work and dedication. Just like adults, each camper has a unique life journey. Therefore, during camp, volunteers should set aside their agendas and experiences to focus on helping campers open their hearts to God's healing work in their lives. The wounded healer's strength lies in the willingness to experience shared pain. You are an asset to camp when you are healed enough to separate yourself emotionally from others' pain and minister in the wake of the needy behavior of campers. If you have a history of abuse, even if you have worked through your pain with professional help, the intensity of the camp experiences may trigger unexpected and strong emotions. Awareness of your limits and seeking help if you feel overwhelmed is essential. Camp leadership will not judge if you need to step back for your well-being. Remember, we are a team of flawed volunteers who advocate for each other. I've had experience, 1 year at camp as a counselor. Several years ago, I had a camper who, she ended up having to leave camp early, and just her behaviors were an endangerment to the other campers, and it triggered something in me, and it was really hard for me to not only watch that, but I kind of felt like I was maybe failing in some way, looking back at that situation, and also just feeling so sad for her that she had to leave. But I had to go to the Dean of Women and talk it out with her and let her pray for me, and that is what leadership is here for. And so I just want to encourage you, if you need to talk something out, and it doesn't have to be something that dramatic. That was a pretty dramatic experience, but it can be, you just realize that something's bothering you, and even if you don't know what it is, just come and talk and we can pray for you, and that's what we're here for. And then also, sometimes we just need a break, like go take a 15-minute nap, or just to walk away for a few minutes, and that's okay, especially not just counselors, everyone, but counselors especially can get very intense. So expect emotions. Volunteers often experience volatile feelings of injustice, anger, and sadness, as well as times of victory, joy, and a sense of God's power and presence. You may also find yourself in situations where campers and volunteers present behaviors that are new to you. Prayerfulness, God's grace, patience, and a non-judgmental attitude will serve you and the camp best. If you feel overwhelmed, again, ask for help. Campers have learned to survive in troubling circumstances. Their behavior reflects their most effective strategies to survive physically and emotionally. Do not take their words and behaviors personally. It's not about you. At camp, saying "I'm sorry" does not necessarily mean you caused the pain or are asking for forgiveness. It simply means you see their pain, feel it, and are open to a connection. Silence in response to hearing hard stories or observing big emotions closes emotional doors. Empathy and warm communication connect you to others and can positively impact campers and volunteers. A phrase that I have heard used a lot is, "I'm sorry you experienced that." So, just saying "I'm sorry" doesn't mean that, like it says, that we caused it. But just to know that we hear them. After camp, you may find yourself without words to talk about your camp experience. You may have tears and feel a lingering desire to have been more attentive or done more. These are common reactions. They represent the impact of the Holy Spirit on you and your faithfulness to both the camp and the campers. I just want to say it's totally normal to be emotional after camp. I don't know how the guys feel when they're done with camp, but I know for myself, my husband has learned I'm just going to be an emotional mess for a day or two afterwards, for sure, especially as a counselor. I think even more so, working closely with the kids. But that just means that we've put our all into the week, and we're giving ourselves in every way, and that's a good thing, but just make sure that you take some time to work that out, to rest, not just physically but also emotionally and spiritually after camp. Here are some constructive ways to process the emotions. Take your cares to God. Pray for the campers throughout the year. Journal your thoughts and emotions. Talk with others who served beside you and may help you describe your feelings. Determine how to grow from what you learned, and plan and prepare your heart for camp next year. Also, a suggestion I would have is that you have a prayer partner, a personal prayer partner that you know will be praying for you throughout the week that's not at camp, and that can also be someone that you can, you know, share your week with, whether you're texting them on your break. I do that. You know, just to kind of say, this is what I need prayer for right now, you know, or this was, you know, it's been a great day and whatever, but it's just good to have someone to share it with after the week's over and to have them praying for you. If you experience difficult feelings after camp, remember the promise of Psalm 34:18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. So the camp is relationship based. Connect with compassion. To be like Jesus is to connect genuinely with those in need. At camp, the children experience compassion and unconditional commitment backed by prayer support. Compassion is God's gift and makes us want to help others. Paul says in Colossians 3:12, put on a heart of compassion. Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion. When you are compassionate, you feel the pain of others. Compassionate camp means meeting campers in their world, but not leaving them there. Relinquishing your agenda and seeking God's. Loving campers, not managing them. Being compelled by God to demonstrate his love. Moving past your pain to step into the distress of others. Reflecting Christ's compassion to volunteers and campers fuels our effectiveness. We cannot pour out what we do not have in us. So ask God to soften your heart for the campers and to rely on him. Something to think about is reflect, is there any part of your past or history you need to ask God to help you process or seek help with before you leave camp, before you leave for camp? As a team, although there are different job responsibilities at camp, such as counselor, grandpa, or coach, all volunteers depend on each other. We can only succeed as a team. We look out for each other and accept praise and feedback because we do not have individual goals. I've seen this at camp, you know, where it's just, you're all so great, you're willing to volunteer, and there's times when people have to step in and just help out in another role, and I don't know that I've seen, at least over the last few years, I don't think I've seen anyone say, I don't want to do that or not be a team player. So that's very important at camp, and that's why the camp works. We often divide roles at camp as counselors and staff. Counselors have a close relationship and spend most of the day with the campers. Staff interact with many campers throughout the day while fulfilling their assigned roles. It is difficult to predict whether a camper will be more impacted by their extended time with their counselor or a kind word of encouragement from a staff member. No matter your role, every member of the team is important. Forgiveness is a crucial element. During the week, tensions can rise, especially getting close to the end of the week when you're really tired, leading to unproductive circumstances. You will create a forgiving environment by showing grace and understanding. This will benefit others and create a culture where you can receive forgiveness when you need it. Your week will improve if you give grace, whether it is offered or not. During the camp week, expect to complete a variety of tasks. Some may be menial and unexpected. We used to have a saying, I've worked with 2 different Royal Family kids camps, and the other one I worked with, they would say, be flexible like Gumby. So it's important just to remember that, to be flexible. As you build rapport and support each other, please remember, counselor teams know their campers' habits and sensitivities. Refrain from correcting campers who are part of a different team unless safety is an issue. Whenever campers are present, fully focus your attention and interact with them. Social interactions between volunteers should occur when campers are absent or after job responsibilities are completed. And those interactions, of course, are, like it says, social. So, you know, don't talk about your own issues. I've had that experience at camp too, where I've seen counselors just talking about their own issues and the kids are kind of doing their own thing, and it's like, okay, this isn't for the kids. So, you know, we have break time, and that's the time to be talking about those things. So we're to build each other up as followers of Christ. Scripture must guide our interpersonal relationships. Loving, respecting, serving, honoring, forgiving, accepting, and encouraging each other are Christian ethics volunteers must exhibit. The stresses of camp can create a temptation to override what we know is a better way. Gossip, ridicule, sarcasm, put-downs, and critical speech never honor God. Dissension is never appropriate. Strong connections between volunteers at camp help campers feel secure and appreciated. When we build each other up in front of campers, we encourage and promote a sense of family. The more we live the truth that we are an extension of God's love through our uniquely displayed gifts, the clearer the campers see God and the more amazing He becomes. All right, so one effective way to gain wisdom and confidence is to learn from the insights of others. Here is advice from experienced volunteers on how they prepare for camp. So I'll just read a few of them. One, it says, I review this manual again a few days before camp. I ask God to empower and sustain me. Another one, how you react to campers' best and worst moments will be the most significant opportunities for you to impact their lives. Your most difficult challenge in making a difference in a camper's life is to love them every moment of every day, rather than just managing their behaviors. During your camp week, ask for help from camp leadership as you notice your effectiveness decreasing. We all get tired. They have a good idea of what you are experiencing and can offer ideas and alternatives you have not considered. So know the needs of the campers. Campers want to be liked for who they are, experience being an insider rather than an outsider, learn new skills and experience new things, have someone patiently listen to their words, have someone be with them when they are challenged, and to be missed when they are gone. These are needs you can meet when you spend time with them because you choose to, not because you are being paid. Often it is the first time campers experience genuine generosity of time. This alone sends a clear message that they are valued. This brings a memory, I think it was maybe last year, one of the women, girl counselors, one of the campers had asked, do you work here all summer, or do you live here? You know, do you get paid to do this? And they were able to say, no, I just come to volunteer to spend the week with you. And I just think that's so impactful. You know, we don't know what they're thinking unless they ask, but I thought that was really neat. All right, well, that is all I have for that. And then we're gonna end with just, I'm gonna read 3 brags and then you guys get to guess who it could be. So, let's see. This might just be 2. They didn't put a 3rd one. Maybe enough to guess though. It says, my latest granddaughter is the most beautiful baby, and 5 of my family members are working at camp. Wow, that's awesome.
I know which family it is.
Yeah.
Well, you can raise your hand if you know the answer.
Yeah.
Oh boy, Sarah.
Joel.
Yes. when you have a big family, you can recruit a lot of family members, right? All right, here's another one. What? What'd you say? Yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell handwriting. Okay, I've been serving kids since I was 13 years old. I have 5 wonderful kids and 6 terrific grandchildren. That narrows it down. I was a 3-sport athlete in college. Any guesses?